Today I have the pleasure of reviewing a pen from a brand that I had, to be honest, I had never heard of. So I'm very excited to share this with you. 3952 is the name of the brand, and this happens to be the X800 pen. This pen was sent to me by Pen Chalet. Pen Chalet now carries this brand. I haven't seen it anywhere else at this point, so that's very cool, and that means that we get something interesting to check out today. Alright, I'm going to cover the parts of the pen and tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then I'll do a writing sample. As you can see, this box is very reflective. You can see the LCD screen of my camera right there, but it is actually not really a box. It's only a cardboard outer sleeve. And you know what we do with those. Here we have a box, and it's a pretty decent box. It's very solid, and it's a nice presentation box. Has a nice reflective logo on there again. 3952 is a Taiwanese brand, and these numbers refer to the height of Mount Jade, the tallest mountain on Taiwan, as I understand it. So of course you have the 4810 of Mont Blanc, you have the 3772 of Mount Fuji for platinum, and now we have this as a Taiwanese brand, which I think is interesting. Opening the box, it has this sort of velvety lining, little protecting thing, and then we have the pen in its sleeve in the box. There's nothing else in the box, that's it. I take the pen out of its sleeve. It comes with a little, I'm just going to call that a Christmas ornament, because it has this little sort of dangly thing, which has a nib on one side and the logo with the 3952 on the other side. Let's take that off. I guess somehow you can maybe use this as some interesting carnivalesque ornament, but for now, let's focus on the pen. It's the X800 is a nice pen. It's not particularly small. I know this is a dark background, I'm wearing something dark, and this is a black pen, so let's put this in front of my very white face. So you can see a little bit, it's a bigger pen, not that small, and it feels solid. It's all metal, so I think this pen has a lot going for it. Now, let's go through the parts. Top of the pen, the finial, there's not a whole lot going on there, although I will say I find this an interesting clip design. It's not very run-of-the-mill, which is nice. As you can see, it's very shiny, chrome colored and all that. Now, I hope you can see, let me try to make that catch the light, you can see that sort of rifling on the cap. The same thing happens on the barrel, those grooves that run around it, which is pretty neat and makes for a nice kind of tactile sensation as you hold the pen. Let's look at the clip. Very stiff. This may suggest that it's spring-loaded. It's not. It's just a very stiff clip, but I'm sure it'll get the job done. Let's see if we can slip that in somewhere, and it does. Just slides easily over my t-shirt, so that shouldn't really be an issue. It's just very tight. Okay, I just unscrewed it a bit, so just put it back in place. Here we have in the center band that logo again, 3952. That's everything on there, and then we have the barrel, as I said, same rifling as the cap, and a little sort of end cap thing, which is also chrome, and it's pretty shiny. See, there's a fingerprint on it. Quickly wipe that off. But as you can see, it's very shiny. Pen uncapped, interestingly, with a magnet, and that's a pretty strong magnet too. Easily snaps in place, easily stays in place, and I think that's a pretty neat touch. It's not unique. We've seen that before. Mont Blanc has done it, Visconti has done it, but still, it's nice. Some may call it a little gimmicky. I kind of like it. It's different. Section, big, chrome colored, has some interesting texture going on there. And then a nice nib. They say they have German nibs, and they range from extra fine through broad. This happens to be an extra fine, but it's pleasant. I like the feed, that it's a little curved. I like that shape. Visconti does something similar. I've always enjoyed that. And it's a number 6 nib, so it's actually a fairly big nib. It writes pleasantly out of the box. It wrote well, not particularly dry. This is an extra fine, so it's not a gusher, but it wrote well, nice and smooth. No issues, really. Barrel unscrews. Pen comes with a converter, standard converter type, nothing fancy about that. just taken that out. So just a converter, nothing really special about that, but that's okay. I definitely gets the job done, draws up a nice amount of ink, works fine. I'll come back to that in 1 second. So there you have it, the section tapers down just a tiny bit and flares out a bit. And as I said, you have a pretty big pen there. It's fairly sizable. If you really want to, you can post it. Then it becomes a bit top heavy because it's a metal cap, metal body, so it really leans towards the back a bit. Okay, what do I like about this pen? What do I not like about the pen? I think this pen has a lot going for it. First of all, it's $150. I know that's not super cheap, but I think you get quite a lot for that. Nice packaging. I don't really care about pen boxes that much, but it's a nice simple box, but it does look very presentable. And you get a cool pen. Bigger, heavy, number 6 nib, comes with a converter. The nib I have writes well. It's nicely made, and this doesn't feel cheap. It feels solid in hand, it's fairly heavy. I like the metal closure, so there's a lot of stuff going on that I think is really quite nice. That magnetic closure, as I said, that may not be for everyone, but I think it's cool, and it does make sure that the clip aligns with the nib, which is also kind of neat. So I just think it has a lot going for it. Comfortable to hold. The section, I know that some people hate metal sections, others don't care so much. I find it very comfortable, and to me it didn't really get slippery. What do I not like about it? Well, there's two things. One is only minor. The pen comes with a converter, but it does not come with cartridges. Does that really matter? Maybe, maybe not. If you use bottled ink, obviously not a problem. You're set up, you dip it in the ink, you fill it up with the converter, no issues. However, I picture this to be a bit of a business gift type pen. Nice box, sort of industrial business-like look. This one I find a little masculine because it's black and kind of it's a bigger, heavier pen. And for some reason I picture this that people would use this as a business gift, also given the price, which is, especially for business, it's doable. But then if you give this to someone who has never used a fountain pen, they may just want to pop in a cartridge and not fiddle around with bottled ink or something. Now all of that is a lot of sort of filling in on my side, and that may not be an issue at all. So I don't think this is a big deal, and of course you can always buy a box of cartridges, right? If you're going to spend $150 on the pen, the $2-3 for the cartridges is not going to make a big difference. But that's one issue. The other issue I have, and that's slightly more structural, and that is nitpicking on my behalf, I think, but this pen has the cap has a white inner cap, and I have seen these types of white inner caps and they have cracked quite a couple of times. Now I don't know about this one. That was on cheaper Chinese pens, they cracked, and those white inner caps actually sort of keep the pen capped. They're designed in such a way that they keep the pen capped, and in this case I guess that's not really an issue because it's magnetic. So whether that's an issue, whether they will crack in the future, I don't know. I would just be a little careful, especially when it comes to posting. I have definitely cracked a few of those cheaper white inner caps, and again, I don't know if this is one of them. By posting them, because you just put some pressure on it, you expand them a bit, and sometimes they crack. That's all, right? That's all there's to it. Whether it's an issue, I don't really know, because this one hasn't cracked, and I've had it for quite a while now. In all, I think this is a great pen. For what you pay, there's other options out there. I'm thinking for example, of Edison pens. You get an acrylic pen, you get a lot of nice color options. They're $150. This is $150, but it's a different type of pen. It's a bit more austere, I would always say. Very interesting, and it writes well, so what more could you wish for? I think the most important thing is that you see how the pen writes. That's what's coming up next. Dimensions of the pen. Measurements will be on the website sbrebrown.com, as well as high resolution pictures. Writing samples up next. Thanks a lot to Pen Chalet for sending me the pen. I appreciate it. Always exciting to try out a whole new brand of pens. I hope this was useful, and I'll gladly see you later. Bye bye. Okay, so here we go with the 3952 X800. The nib is an extra fine and the ink is Visconti purple. Sorry for this horrid handwriting, I'm hitting the tripod leg there. So I'll try to do better here, now that we have gone down a little bit. Definitely a fine nib. Always remember that camera microphones pick up this noise a lot. So it may sound horribly scratchy, and I really don't find it that scratchy. It's a very fine nib, so you will feel feedback, but it's not an unpleasant pen to write with. This is some Superfast illegible writing. Maybe that was a skip, maybe that was me, but I think in general that's a pretty decent ink flow for a pen like this. And don't forget Visconti purple, I found that a little bit dry to begin with, so that's actually not that bad. Okay. Wetness, well, as I said, slightly dry ink and an extra fine nib. That is not the world's greatest wetness for sure. Line variation. You can definitely squeeze some out here, but you do have to push quite a bit to get to that. Reverse writing, of course, it is already an extra fine nib, so the nib runs dry and doesn't work. That make more sense on with a, say, a broad nib or something. And that's pretty much all there's to it. So, a kind thank you to Pen Chalet for sending me this pen. I appreciate it. I hope this was useful. I hope you find this an interesting brand that you may want to check out or something. And that's all. I'll gladly see you later. Bye bye. Bye!